Since ancient times, we have looked to the skies for answers, tracing patterns between the stars and life on Earth. But what if one of our most deeply held beliefs had a flaw we have chosen to ignore? Tropical astrology is based on the movement of the sun along the ecliptic, not the climate. However, the association of Aries with spring, Cancer with summer, and Capricorn with winter has left an unresolved question that few have dared to address. Should astrology be interpreted differently in the southern hemisphere? The answer is no. The zodiac remains the same, but the way its energy is experienced may manifest differently in various environments. This leads us to distinguish between subjective interpretations, which arise from context and social perception, and objective interpretations, which are based on astronomical principles that structure astrology. The tropical zodiac is structured around the equinoxes and solstices, key moments in the cycle of solar light. The cardinal signs mark these points because they represent beginnings, moments when energy shifts direction and initiates a new phase within the natural flow of time. Traditionally, Aries is associated with spring because it occurs at the March equinox in the northern hemisphere when light begins to predominate. It was within this context that astrology first developed. However, if we follow this logic, in the southern hemisphere, spring begins at the September equinox, which would imply that Libra, rather than Aries, marks the beginning of a new cycle of light in that region. This raises the question, should astrology be adapted to the seasonal experience of each hemisphere? The answer remains no. Astrology is not determined by climate or cultural perception, but by the relationship between the Earth and the Sun. Even though Aries coincides with autumn and Libra with spring in the southern hemisphere, their meanings do not change because their foundation is not dependent on seasons, but on the sun's movement along the ecliptic. Thus, Aries still represents a dynamic and energetic beginning, while Libra continues to symbolize balance and meditation. The tropical zodiac is structured around the dynamics of solar light. Aries and Libra mark the equinoxes, where day and night have equal duration, initiating cycles of balance and momentum. Cancer and Capricorn mark the solstices, the points of maximum light and darkness, where the extremes of expansion and contraction of vital energy are experienced. These reference points are astronomical and don't depend on the climate of any region. Aries is not the sign of spring, but rather the moment when light begins to dominate over darkness in the northern hemisphere. Libra, conversely, marks the beginning of the descent of light. In the southern hemisphere, these moments occur in different signs, but their meaning remains the same because astrology is based on the relationship between the Earth and the Sun, not human climatic perception. Solar light not only defines the sequence of the zodiac, but also establishes a cyclical structure of energy, where each sign represents a specific quality within the flow of light and shadow that we experience throughout the year. Astrology, viewed from its essential structure, is not just a language for describing human personality, but a symbolic system that reflects the very mechanics of existence. It allows us to observe how cosmic dynamics manifest on all levels of reality, from individual processes to patterns of collective evolution. By setting aside interpretations conditioned by environment and focusing on astrology from a universal perspective, we understand that each sign represents a fundamental quality within the flow of existence. They are not merely characteristics associated with human behavior, but essential expressions of how energy moves, stabilizes, transforms, and expands across all planes of reality. The study of astrology without cultural biases opens the possibility of perceiving the zodiac as a dynamic structure that transcends the personal and becomes a key to deciphering the interconnectedness of all natural processes. In this way, we can intuit that astrology does not merely describe individuals, but rather universal principles that govern everything, from the growth of a single cell to the formation of galaxies. If we leave behind conditioned interpretations and focus on astrology from a universal perspective, each sign represents an essential quality within the flow of existence. Each sign, within its modality and element, fulfills a purpose within the zodiacal cycle. They don't depend on seasons or climates, but on a deeper order that manifests in every being and every experience. Astrology does not change based on hemisphere, as it is founded on the relationship between the Earth and the Sun. However, the way its energies are experienced may be influenced by how humans perceive light and darkness within their environment. The zodiac doesn't depend on seasons, but on the eternal dance between the sun and the earth. This doesn't mean we should reinterpret astrology, but rather observe how cosmic patterns are reflected in human experience in fascinating ways. If this astrological reflection resonated with you, leave a comment and share your thoughts. I love engaging in meaningful conversations. Subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss my upcoming videos. You can also join my Substack, where I send astrological insights via email. There is free content available, and if you want to dive deeper, you can access exclusive material with a paid subscription. Your support makes a difference. If you enjoy my work and want to help me continue creating quality content, consider becoming a paid subscriber on Substack. The link is in the description. Thank you very much, and until the next video.